Alright, time for another day of fun here. I got a lot of stuff done yesterday off camera. So I cleaned up the mess, I cut the parts all I want. This is the junk stuff here. Got the new lifters unpacked. I need to hone the ODs so they're smooth, they're a little rough. Got the hardware I need to bolt the case together. Fixed the motor stand. Welded some washers in right here so the motor won't pull out of the frame as it's being shipped back. So this is one of the cheapest piece of crap engine stands I've ever seen. Kind of crap you get on eBay. I didn't buy it, the customer did. My engine stands are made out of thicker metal. They're stronger. Somewhere there's a sportster one floating around. Besides the one underneath that motor over there. Alright, what else did I get done? Oh, I did some painting. I also painted the oil pump body here with that duplicolor paint that just splatters on. Kind of runs around too. That's not my crappy paint job, that's the paint splattering out instead of painting like it should. I have to clean up the overspray, or that's actually drain off because it goes on wet as hell. It's basically like dipping it on. So anyway, got a little work done. Alright, so these are what we got for shims to play with, that our customer has anyway. So we got to deal with a tight crankcase, or tight rod. Crank doesn't want to turn, not a good sign. And I need to adjust the in-play inside here. So the number 2 cam is hard to move. If you saw it move there, but didn't want to move easy. Basically rotating the screwdriver here. So that's pretty hard to move. It's supposed to just slide back and forth. Alright, so down between the plate and the cam there on the left side of that lobe is where the shimming goes. So you can take a feeler gauge like this and go in there and figure it out. Or you can just start adding shims and take the cover on and off about 1,000,000 times. Either way works. It's hard to do with one hand. I need two. Alright. So there's numbers on these things somewhere. So if you take 20 and 21, that means you got 41. Between the cam plate and the cam, if it won't go in, it's less than that. So that one went in. So we know it's more than 21, but less than 41. So there's a 25 thou one right here. Right there, it's the biggest one we got, without adding some. Okay, it went all the way down in there. It's hard to see, but it's going all the way in. So it's got a little more than 25. So this is a two-handed operation to do this correctly. You can see what we're doing. Damn, we adjusted it so hard. Okay, so we know it's more than 25 and less than 41. So let's go with something in the 30 area. So there's 29. 14 and 15 is 29. At least last time I added it up. Definitely tight. So you drop down to a 13 on one side. That takes 2 thou off because you went from a 13 to a 15. You took off 2. That goes in. Okay, we want to keep roughly around 8 to 12 on all our numbers. On a number 2 cam, which is one we're checking, I'd like to run a little bit tighter because with the distributor motor, as cam goes in and out, the worm gear will change your timing on you. So there's a worm gear in there, kind of like this, and it rotates as you go in and out. The cam will rotate, and it'll shove the gear back and forth, which will affect your ignition timing. So I run it a little bit tighter. So we have 27 here. So if I put like 20 thou with the shims, we'll have 7 left over, which should be all right. We have not, this gasket's not really compressed all the way, it's just lightly torqued, so it will squeeze up probably 1 or 2 more over time. So let's see what we got for shims here. We got a 16, another 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, and a thin ass one, 5. We don't like 5. But 15 and 5 makes 21, which would give us what we need. There's 20. So we can use these, or I can give me a couple 10 thou shims. Okay, we're going to lay that out on the table over here. Clean the table off, see the dirt. So cams always go 1, 2, 3, 4, starting in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. We just did number 2, so you put number 2 where number 2 would be over on the table. Over here. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll lay them out. So we'll pre-shim every one of these. Okay, let's go check the next one. Number 1 cam. Rotate it over. It's nice and loose like it's supposed to be. See how it moves real easy? So that's what you want. So number 2 is locked up on the, either on the other cam or on the pinion gear. Most likely it's on the pinion gear because I think that cam moves side to side good. We'll find out when we get closer. So now we're going to go check down side this one. So here's your 27 thou we just used. It's tight. Tight but trying to go in. So if I put a single shim over there, we should be good. That'll leave us about 11 thou. So we're done with that one. Now we turn the motor over to the next load. It's relatively loose, so we know that the number 2 cam is now dragging on the pinion gear. Or it's loose on the cam, or it's binding up on the bushing on the cam cover. My guess is the pinion gear, because I think we checked that before. Okay, we take the 2 shims that we just, or the 2 feeler gauge we just used, try it again. Goes in pretty easy. Skip up a couple numbers here. Goes in, but it's tight. That's a 29, 14 and a 15. So that's 28. So if we had this and another 5 thou shim to work, or like I said, we double up with 2 10s. So we have what, 25? No, 29. We have like 28. So we need 20. So cam shim assortment. Yeah, cam shims. Okay, I'm not a big fan of 5s, but seems to be what's working right now. So looks like we're in a new container here. So we jam these in there real tight. I wonder who that was. Hey, there's some loose ones. There we go. So it's a 6 style. Why is that 6,000? Supposed to be 5. Appears to be 5.5. Put these two together and we get 21. So that's about 28 or so. Should I leave about 7? Might be a little snug. It'll work. Maybe. We'll find out. Sometimes things change when you bolt them together. These will be pretty loose like the last one. A little bit tighter than that. 13 and 14. That goes in. So that's 27. I'm just going to put a single one in there. That's about 11. I'm not a big fan of that 5 over there. It's a little snugger than I like, but we'll see. Okay, so we got extra shims. Alright, so that's how you figure out what you need there. I might take that 5 out when I put it together because it might be too tight. We'll find out. The last thing is the idler gear in here. It appears to have in play. It's just a matter of sticking your thumb in there and finger, whatever you got, going back and forth. If it has in play, you're good. This isn't really critical on being too tight. None of these really are, except for this one. Number 2. Alright, so that's ready to come apart. So the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and smooth up these lifters here. A little bit rougher than I like. So I'll go over here and play a little bit. Yeah, leave that there. So we go over here and play with the lathe. In our external hone. Okay, so we need to get a few parts here because we're missing what we need. Not parts, but tools. We need tools to fix that. So we need a hone and some oil. And a dirtier rag. This will be called a dirtier rag. Alright. Go ahead and lay it down a little bit. Get some room to work. Alright, so here's our external hone. This goes onto here. Like so. There it is. Thought I just did this recently. We're going to hold it right here on the lathe. And then we're going to hone this thing a little bit back and forth and try not to chew up the wheel. We don't want to be don't want to be hitting against the wheel there if we can avoid it. And we can go back and forth a little bit until we hit the chuck. So I only got like 1/8 of an inch clearance to go back and forth, which isn't much, but that's what we got to work with. Yeah, we might have close to 1/8 of an inch. It's hard to tell. Alright. Lube on that. Adjust this here. There's a lot around, you can feel it already. Okay. Take that out. Nice and dirty. Get the dirty rag and wipe it down. There you go. We take our cleaner rag, wipe it down some more. So now our surface is nice and honed and straight and more round, because a hone makes it straighter, rounder, truer, and smoother all at the same time. It's not just running sandpaper across it, which does not make it round, true, or straight. It just makes it smoother. So you only do one of 4 things. So I like to do all 4. So here's the before, there's the after. I don't know if you can see the difference, but here's the difference. Doesn't sound much different, does it? A little bit different. Definitely smoother when you go like that. Now if you hone it more, it'll get smoother yet. It's just a matter how long you want to hone it. Now the more you hone it, the smaller it's going to get too, so there's a trade-off. We're trying to knock off the high spots so it doesn't tear up the lifter block so bad. That's the effect. So it doesn't sound much different, but it definitely is different when you hold on to it. So you don't want to cut it too much bigger, just a little bigger. So we're not trying to resize it, just trying to smooth it out. A little rounder. Smell it here, that one's finer. A little bit. Definitely better than that. Alright, we're going to do the rest of these and we've got to clean them all up. So we'll be back.